Hey, what's up everyone? Hope you're all doing great. Let's go through what's changed, what it means for gameplay, and why it's one of those little updates that quietly makes the game feel smoother and more rewarding to play. If you've been spending time battling it out with your favorite heroes from the Wise and Trails universes, you've probably noticed that the game has been getting steady attention from Falcom and the localization team. Every patch since launch has chipped away at small quirks, translation tweaks, and balance improvements. This latest one continues that pattern by zeroing in on a couple of items that weren't behaving exactly as intended. The patch specifically fixes how the Critical Strike gloves and the Awakening Puppet function. Before this update, their duration settings were off. Basically, the buffs or effects tied to them didn't last as long as they were supposed to, making them feel underwhelming during battles. It wasn't a deal breaker, but it did make certain strategies less effective. Now that issue has been ironed out, so when you use those items mid-fight, you'll get the proper duration and can plan your timing without worrying about them cutting off too early. It's the kind of change that might sound minor in patch notes, but for players who love squeezing every bit of advantage out of character builds or timed boosts, it's a noticeable fix. The Critical Strike gloves in particular can turn the tide in close duels, especially when you're up against characters with strong defense or tricky movement options. Having them work properly gives a fairer balance to offensive playstyles again. The Awakening Puppet, on the other hand, helps in clutch moments where revival or protection matters, and restoring its intended behavior adds a subtle but important layer of reliability. It shows that the developers are still paying attention to how the mechanics perform in real matches, which is great to see for a crossover title like this, where fans come from both Wise and Trails communities with high expectations for combat systems. Another highlight of the patch is something that's more about the Steam experience than direct gameplay. If you're playing on PC, this update officially activates Steam community items. That means if you're eligible, you'll now have access to trading cards, badges, profile backgrounds, and emoticons tied to Wise vs. Trails in the Sky alternative Saga. It's a nice touch for collectors and completionists. The trading cards feature artwork from across both franchises, which is honestly a treat for fans who followed Falcom series for years. Once you collect the full set and craft the badge, you can unlock new profile themes and special emoticons you can use in Steam chat or your community posts. It's one of those little extras that make the game feel more integrated into the broader PC gaming ecosystem, and it adds a fun meta goal beyond just in-game achievements. What's cool is that this update doesn't just stop with these fixes and features. It also reflects how stable the game's become since its global release. When Wise vs. Trails in the Sky Alternative Saga first launched, there were a few translation hiccups and balance adjustments that needed attention. But patch by patch, those issues have been addressed, and now the game feels well-tuned both online and offline. The character interactions are smoother, menus load more consistently, and now that the item duration bug is gone, combat pacing feels tighter. It's that kind of subtle refinement that helps the crossover really shine, especially for those who enjoy the unique mix of Wise fast-paced action and Trails character depth. For those who haven't played it yet, this game is an interesting experiment from Falcom, kind of like a fighting arena where characters from both series face off with flashy abilities, elemental skills, and signature moves.